Welcome. In this session, I'm going to discuss the next group of plants, bryophytes. So here, the plants included under this group Bryophyta, they are commonly called amphibians of plant kingdom. Commonly called amphibians of plant kingdom. So the reason why they are called amphibians of plant kingdom is their requirement of water for sexual reproduction. So I mean they require water for sexual reproduction. Right? Then the plants that are included under bryophytes. So included under bryophyta. So it includes liverworts and mosses. So it includes liverworts and mosses. Then these bryophytes, so these are non-vascular plants. So here non-vascular, which means no vascular tissues. So vascular tissues are absent. The vascular tissues are xylem and phloem. Okay, out of algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, it is the algae and bryophytes do not have vascular tissues, whereas the remaining three, that is pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, they will have vascular tissues. Okay, so these are non-vascular plants and also non-flowering plants. And again, out of algae, all the groups of plants, the algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms. So these four group of plants, they do not produce flowers. Only the group of plants who produce flowers are angiosperms. Right? Next. So these bryophytes, they play important role in plant succession on bare rocks or soil. So they play important role in plant succession on bare rocks or soil. So here what we mean by plant succession. So plant succession is a gradual change in species composition in an area. Okay, say suppose here on bare rocks, these bryophytes, they start living, they produce some kind of enzymes and acids which result in breakdown of these rocks into soil and conversion into soil. So the rock getting converted into soil in course of time, and more soil will result in supporting higher group of plants. So a bare rock in course of time may get developed into a forest. So that process is what we call plant succession, and some species of these bryophytes will help in the plant succession. Okay, then the plant body is thallus. So the plant body is thallus, which we know that thallus is undifferentiated plant body. There are no root, stem, leaf. Okay, if at all they are present, they will be root-like, stem-like, and leaf-like structures. Thallus grows prostrate or erect. So it may grow prostrate. We'll see here. So say suppose this is a substratum, okay, a rock, and on this we will see the thallus growing. Okay, so this is the thallus. Okay, so this thallus is growing, right, prostate. So this is prostate growth, and if it is seen growing in this way, okay, so vertically, then we call it erect. So in this case I am showing, okay, only a prostate. So if it grows vertically, then we call it erect. And okay, so this thallus will be oppressed right to the substratum, means very closely it will be present, attached to the substratum, so with the help of rhizoids. So these are rhizoids, which are root like structures. Okay, and in case of prostate, so the thallus is dorsi-ventrally flattened. So the thallus is dorsi-ventrally flattened. Okay, so when we see this upper side is the dorsal side of the thallus, and this is the lower side, which is seen attached to the substratum, is the ventral side. And we can see the dorsal and ventral sides are flattened. Okay, so that's why we say thallus is dorsi-ventrally flattened. Gametophytes will produce male gametes, and they produce, okay, female gametes. So these male and female gametes will undergo fusion, so syngamy, and this results in the formation of zygote. So that will be diploid in condition. So here the gametes are haploid, and these gametes are produced by mitotic division, so by means of mitosis. Okay, by syngamy, of course, fertilization of male gametes and male and female gametes results in the formation of zygote, and this zygote will develop into sporophyte, so which will be 2n, okay, by means of mitosis. And this sporophyte will be producing spores. They produce spores by means of meiosis, and these spores, okay, will be released from the sporophyte, and when they settle on a suitable substratum, the sporophyte will develop into gametophyte. So just I have briefly given you the life cycle of a bryophyte. So later when I discuss liverworts in detail, I'll discuss about okay, how reproduction takes place. I told you that these bryophytes are of two types, the liverworts and mosses. So we'll first see about these liverworts. Okay, so the liverworts will be growing in, so they grow in moist, shady locations. So they grow in moist, shady locations. Okay, which will be present on the banks of streams, marshy areas, damp soils, even on bark, okay, of trees, deep in the woods where the very big forest, and will have lot of canopy, and on the forest floor there will be not much light, and it will be moist, okay, wet, damp conditions will be seen. So those are best locations where we see these liverworts growing. So okay, so grow in moist, shady habitats. Okay, then here the body is thallus, okay, which is not differentiated, okay, into root, stem, leaf, anything. And then, okay, here in case of liverworts, we find two basic morphological uh, types. So there are two basic morphological types, okay, of liverwort gametophyte. So I told you already, the main plant body is gametophyte. So here two basic morphological, okay, types of liverwort gametophyte is seen. Okay, so that, okay, I mean they are one, okay, thalloid liverwort, and another one called leafy liverwort. So there are two basic morphological types of liverworts. Okay, liverwort gametophyte especially. So they are thalloid liverwort and leafy liverwort. So here, in case of thalloid liverwort, it already tells us that the body is thallus like. So body is thallus like. And coming to, okay, in the leafy liverwort, we see, okay, leaf like structures present in two rows on stem like structures. So already told you that there are no true stems or leaves. Okay, so we will see only, okay, some, okay, leaf like structures like this. Okay, so these are tiny leaf like structures arranged in two rows. So they are arranged in two rows. Okay, if we see in that way, so those gametophytes of liverworts are called leafy liverworts. And if we don't see them, okay, so the body will be thallus and they are called thalloid liverworts. So reproduction in liverworts, the reproduction will be okay by two methods, asexual as well as sexual mode of reproduction. So asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Okay, so coming to asexual reproduction, this is by fragmentation. So this one takes place by fragmentation, okay, and also by formation of, so by formation of germen. So these are two methods of asexual reproduction. So we already know fragmentation. So like in case of Markantia, if the thallus breaks up into two or three pieces, each of that can develop into a new individual. Okay, where here we'll see in case of formation of germen, so these are developed on the thalli in a special structures called gamma cups. So okay, so this is the thallus, and okay, this is, okay, called the gamma cup, and inside this we find, okay, germen. So here we can see the structure. So these germen, when they break off and then get released, they can develop into, okay, new individuals. So these are called gemme, right? So this is how the gamma cup looks. Okay, so here this is the cup inside which we find these structures called gamete. So these gamete are actually green multicellular asexual buds. So gamete are green multicellular asexual buds. Okay, so already they are in a position of performing photosynthesis, and when they break off, they find a suitable location, they will be growing into new thallus. Okay, so this is how we see the formation, I mean how we see the reproduction, okay, by gamete. Now coming to the sexual mode of reproduction. So coming to the sexual mode of reproduction. So here I will take an example of Markantia. So this Markantia is a dioecious plant. So it's a dioecious plant. So we find okay, male and female thalli. So we see here the male thallus will be bearing male sex organs. So these male sex organs are called antheridia. Okay, and then I'm sorry, and coming to the female thallus. So in case of female thallus, it will be having female sex organs. So these female sex organs are called Archaegonia. I told you Markantia is a dioecious plant. So there will be male thallus different, I mean separate, and female thallus will be separate. And the male thallus will develop male, okay, sex organ. So here, let's look at the thallus here. So here these are rhizoids. Rhizoids. So these rhizoids may be unicellular or multicellular, but in case of Markantia, the rhizoids are unicellular. So they are unicellular. So I told you that I'm here I have taken example of Markantia and mostly okay, telling you about the Markantia. So here the rhizoids in case of Markantia, they are unicellular, and here you will find the gamma cups, and here you can see the development of so this is the development of antheridiopore. So I will take this one as male thallus. So this is a male thallus. The male thallus will have antheridiopore. So this antheridiopore will have okay, of course, a stalk. So this is the stalk, and this is what we call it receptacle. Is called receptacle. So the antheridiopore has two parts. Antheridiopore has two parts. One is receptacle and another one is, okay, stalk. Okay, so it is here in the receptacle the male sex organs will be present. And coming to the female thallus, the female thallus will be seen, okay, in the similar way here. Okay, so here this is okay, so here the rhizoids, okay, and you may find the gamma cups here, and here we find the structure called Archaegoniospore. Archaegoniospore. So this is the Archaegoniospore. Okay, And this, as I told, in case of antheridiopore, the archaegoniospore will also have, okay, the archaegoniospore will also have two structures, that is the receptacle and stalk. It will also have, this is the stalk and this is the receptacle. Okay, so now let us see how this receptacle in case of male and in case of female we see. Okay, so I'm talking about the receptacle in male. So it's seen, okay, somewhat like this. So here this is the stalk. Okay, this is the stalk. This whole structure is antheridiopore, and here we find the structures called antheridia. Okay, so these are antheridia, the male sex organs. So antheridia, so which are the male sex organs. Okay, and of course this is the antheridio 4. Okay, so here this portion will be the thallus, which is connected to thallus. And if we see this antheridium, if we see antheridium, the antheridium, okay, is seen, okay, in this way. So it's seen something like this. Okay, so this is how we see in case of antheridium. So this is a say a mature antheridium. Okay, and inside this we find a lot of cells. So all these are cells which will result in the formation of male gametes called antherozoids. Okay, so this is the antheridium. Okay, and here we can find small opening, and this is called ostiole, through which the biflagellated antherozoids which are formed will be coming out. Okay, so this antheridium, androcyte mother cells. So these androcyte mother cells are haploid and they will be undergoing mitosis, okay, and produce androcytes, so which will be also haploid, and they develop into a biflagellated antherozoids. So they develop into biflagellated antherozoid. So here the biflagellated antherozoid is seen somewhat like this. So this is, okay, a biflagellate antherozoid. Clear? So this inside the antheridium, androcyte mother cells will undergo mitosis. They produce androcytes and they finally become biflagellated antherozoids. So this is how we see in case of male sex organs called antheridia. Now coming to the female sex organs, they are called Archaegonia. So these female sex organs will be seen on the receptacle. So here, so this is the receptacle we see. Okay, so this is the right, this whole structure is Archaegoniophore. Archaegoniophore. And here we find the Archaegonia. So these are Archaegonia. So this is how they are present. So all these are Archaegonia. Okay, so here when we see one Archaegonium, so one Archaegonium is seen somewhat like this. Okay, so here all these are cells. Okay, this Archaegonium will have a swollen part. This is called actually venter, and the remaining portion is neck. Okay, so the neck will consist of neck cells, and here inside the venter we find one egg cell. So this is the egg cell, is egg cell. Okay, of course it's a haploid and is surrounded by the venter cells. Okay, so here all these are neck cells present. Okay, so this is the mature Archaegonium. So this structure is mature Archaegonium. Okay, and these Archaegonia are actually present. Archaegonia are present in acropetal manner. So they are present in acropetal manner. So here the meaning of acropetal manner is that the older Archaegonia will be present at center and younger Archaegonia are present at margin. So it means this is a younger Archaegonium, and this is okay older Archaegonium, is older Archaegonium. Okay, so this is how in case of in Markantia, the Archaegonia and Antheridia, so they are the sex organs, how they are seen. So here we know in case of Markantia, the male thallus and female thallus are present separately. Now once the biflagellated anthrozoids are released, okay, so of course it requires water to swim, and okay, so here are those biflagellate anthrozoids. So this is a anthrozoid. So biflagellate anthrozoid. So now what happens, these neck cells, all of them will get degenerated, and this biflagellated anthrozoid moves, okay, and then finally comes in contact with the egg cell. So that is biflagellate anthrozoid plus egg cell. Okay, N and N. Okay, this is syngamy, and this results in the formation of zygote. It results in the formation of zygote. So this zygote now undergoes mitosis, and it will develop into sporophyte. We know the zygote will be diploid, and the sporophyte will be also diploid due to the cell division mitosis. This sporophyte which is formed is not independent. So what happens in some cases, the zygote will immediately undergo meiosis, and it will produce spores. It will produce spores, and the spores will be released, okay, and they settle somewhere, and again they develop into gametophyte. But here, there those spores will develop into gametophyte. But here in this case, okay, the zygote will not undergo meiosis immediately. Okay, so it first undergoes mitosis and then produces, okay, sporophyte, and this sporophyte is still present on gametophyte itself. Okay, and this sporophyte will be differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. Okay, so let's see that one finally will become, okay, sporophyte. So this is the sporophyte, how it looks like. Okay, and right, so this is how it looks like. So this is the foot which will be embedded in the gametophyte, and okay, so this is the seta, and this portion is the capsule. Okay, so here inside the capsule, so inside the capsule there are spore mother cells. So they are spore mother cells. So these spore mother cells will be, okay, diploid, because we know this is the sporophyte structure, okay, 2n, and I told you that this sporophyte is not independent, it is dependent on gametophyte. Okay, it is attached to, okay, that gametophyte part only, right? And this is having three parts, okay, foot, seta, and capsule. And inside this capsule there are spore mother cells. Now these spore mother cells will undergo meiosis and they produce spores which will be haploid. Okay, and inside a lot many, okay, thousands and thousands of spores will be produced, and once they are all mature, okay, so here the capsule breaks open and it releases the spores, and these spores, okay, upon a suitable location, they germinate and they give rise to the thallus of Mercantia, and the same process, okay, takes place. Okay, so this is how the reproduction takes place, right, in case of bryophytes, and especially here I told about liverworts. Examples of this group, liverworts. So liverworts example, so already one I have mentioned, Mercantia, then Riccia, and then Anthoceros, etc. are some examples of liverworts. The next group we shall see about mosses. So the next group of bryophytes are mosses. Here the life cycle will be slightly different than that of okay, liverworts. So you'll see here the gametophyte is the dominant stage in mosses also. Okay, gametophyte is dominant stage, so it is dominant stage. Okay, and this gametophyte actually consists of two stages. Actually we know the gametophyte develops from, okay, spores. So these spores are haploid, and spores upon germination they give rise to the gametophyte, and during the development it has actually two stages. Okay, so during development it shows two stages. So there are two stages. So the first one will be a protonema stage. Okay, after the protonema stage, there will be a leafy stage. So first is protonema stage, and second one will be a leafy stage. So these are two stages. So protonema stage and a leafy stage. So here spores immediately means when they germinate. Okay, so I mean not immediately. So when they germinate, they first produce actually protonema. So here they produce protonema. Okay, and protonema grows for some time. Okay, and once it reaches the secondary stage, okay, then it starts producing some buds, and those will develop into this leafy stage. So this gametophyte will have two stages. Already I told you the spores will be produced in the capsules of sporophyte, and once they are released on suitable locations, they germinate and they give rise to this protonema stage. So this protonema will be branched. So you can see it is branched structure. So we'll see it's a branched structure. Okay, so this is how we see the protonema stage. Okay, so this protonema stage is branched. It is filamentous. So this is branched, filamentous, and this will be green in color. So wherever I mention green in color, it means it has chloroplast and is able to perform the process of photosynthesis. So hence this protonema is performing photosynthesis. So it is branched, filamentous, okay, and green in color. Then okay, after some growth, the protonema, so the primary protonema later becomes the secondary protonema. Okay, so of course here I'll just mention primary protonema. Spores directly form primary protonema. The primary protonema later becomes the secondary protonema. On the secondary protonema, we see development of buds. Okay, so here bud development, and those buds will develop into the next stage called the leafy stage. Okay, so the secondary protonema will give rise to the leafy stage. Okay, how it will be? Okay, so the leafy stage will be growing erect, and it will have root like structures. So they are rhizoids, and also we see the leaves arranged on it spirally. So they arrange on it spirally. So these are the leaves. Okay, so this is the main axis. Okay, and these are rhizoids. Okay, and of course these are all leaves, and this portion is the gametophyte. Okay, so this portion is gametophyte, right? And this gametophyte will develop the sporophyte, and here we can see there is a sporophyte development. So this will also have the same structures which I have mentioned earlier in case of liverworts. Okay, so it has foot which will be embedded in the gametophyte, and this is the seta, and this is the capsule. Okay, so this portion what we see here is sporophyte, Of course, this sporophyte is developed due to union of male and female gametes which are produced by this gametophyte. Okay, so the gametophyte will have the structures Antheridia and Archaegonia. Okay, in some cases monoecious and in some cases dioecious, and they release antherozoids, which will finally come in contact with the egg cell present inside the Archaegonia, that results in formation of zygote. So what I have discussed the thing in case of liverworts. Okay, so the structures may be Archaegonia and Antheridia will be same. Okay, so only this gametophyte and the sporophyte structures will be a little different. Okay, so the remaining will be almost same, and once the egg egg gets fertilized by biflagellate antherozoids, it forms zygote, and the zygote will form into this sporophyte by means of mitosis. And this capsule, we know the capsule, it consists of so the capsule, it consists of the spore mother cells. So inside this, the spore mother cells, I'm just writing a short, so it's a spore mother cells which will be diploid. We know sporophyte is diploid and gametophyte is haploid. So this will undergo meiosis and produces spores which are haploid. So the capsule breaks open and it releases spores, and then it will be the spores will be on a suitable location. They develop into free gametophyte. So in this case we don't see the sporophyte which is free. So sporophyte will be dependent on gametophyte only. And here also we see reproduction, of course, which I mentioned is sexual reproduction. We see the vegetative reproduction will be by fragmentation. The vegetative reproduction will be by fragmentation. Okay, and also by budding, So both methods we see vegetative mode of reproduction. The structure which I mentioned is funaria. Okay, so in this case funaria, the rhizoids are multicellular. Earlier in Markantia I mentioned those rhizoids are unicellular. Okay, so examples will include sphagnum. So other examples include sphagnum. Okay, so here I already mentioned funaria, and another one polytrichum, etc. Okay, so that's about the life cycles in bryophytes. In the next session we'll see economic importance of bryophytes, and also we'll see about pteridophytes.